Today I want to discuss the use of reporting verbs in your academic writing. And remember, reporting verbs are used to attribute the source of the information, but the choice of the reporting verb is important for expressing your attitude towards the source material. So it's your opinion about what it is that the author of the source material is trying to say. Because again, remember, you're citing this for your own purpose, whatever the purposes are. So you choose a reporting verb that is aligned with the purpose for your citation. And one of the things, the program here is something I designed, and unfortunately it has some glitches in it that I can't fix. You can see there's a misspelling in the heading, and I don't have access to the program anymore, so I can't fix anything. But I think the program is valuable in helping you see that the choice of reporting verbs is a series of steps and decisions that you have to make. And I just want to illustrate here how to use the program, and so that you can check if you have a problem or you're confused about choosing a certain reporting verb. You can use this program to help you make a decision. So if we look at the first sentence here, Chris Woolston described that Anne's publications were published by her professor without listing her name. The reporting verb is described. Now, we've talked about that described is a descriptive reporting verb, meaning that you use it to summarize information in your sentence. And so descriptive reporting verbs do not take that clauses. So if we'll go back to the program in a second to see how you might use a descriptive reporting verb like describe. That is, in what ways can you use it? So if we go to the beginning of the program, and the URL is eslcomposition.osu.edu, and we want to look primarily at the reporting verbs tutorial. So if you click there, you see that there are two categories. The key is to look down here, that you can search by word or search by concept. So let's first search by word. And since we're talking about the word describe, let's see if it's here. So there are some examples of describe. So you click on describe, and then you click search. So after you click search, then you notice what you get is this table with certain examples of the use of the word describe. So here, the first sentence, the world appears to be simple at these extremes. It seems most easily described and understood. Okay? So if you look at this sentence, this is a passive use, but the world is the object. Okay? And in here, new words to describe visual objects. And here's one that's even closer. Science journal Marie Bartusiak describes the present status. So in all of these cases, describe takes a direct object. So if you want to know that describe doesn't take a that clause, it always takes a direct object. And here there's some notes here about the uses of tenses and when present and past tense is going to be used. Now, one problem in the program is that it's not described, so I want to mention it here. If you click the reload this page button, what you get is more examples. So if you don't, although some of them, so there's some glitches here, you can see, you get another sample of examples that you can use. Now again, this doesn't tell you exactly whether describe how to use describe, what you need to do is read these examples and then try to get a sense of when do you use the word describe. Okay, so describe the present status, or an automatic available light opens with an address described by the author. So the address is described by the author. If we look down a little bit here, publications describe the findings. Okay, so that means they give details about the findings. So this gives you a kind of sense about how to use the word describe. In the second example, the writer also declared that this year, different from the years before, each department contracted separately with Turnitin. Now, the problem here is the meaning of the word declared. And so when you choose a reporting verb, each reporting verb has a different meaning. And so you have to choose the word that most accurately goes with the information that you're reporting. Now, the problem is declare is very strong. You know, we have the Declaration of Independence. So it's a very strong use. But the material is different than years before. Each department contracted separately with Turnitin. That's a simple fact. There's nothing profound or emotional about that. So the meaning of the word declared here does not go with the content that's being cited. So if we go back to our program here, we notice we can look at the other search button on this page, which is search by concept. And by concept, I mean that you're searching by the idea. So since here the problem is which reporting verb best goes with the type of information that's being reported, we're using this. So again, if you search, click search by content, the next screen that you see is a series of questions that you need to consider before you choose the reporting verb. And so you can see here that this is not a simple question about choosing reporting verbs. And the first question, and we've discussed these questions, but if you need to review, do you want an integral or non-integral example? Now, if you need to review these terms and you click here, you get some examples of these terminology. Okay, so we only need here to click integral sentences contain the name of the author. Block argues non-integral sentences do not contain the name of the author. So we're in this work that we're doing for this course, all of our sentences right now are integral. So you would just click here. Do you want an informative or descriptive sentence? And again, we've talked about this, but if you need to review what the terms mean, you simply click on one. So in this case, it's an informative sentence. Do you want a example from the point of view of the author or yourself? And you use reporting verbs both to cite other people's material, but also to cite your own material. But here again, we're talking about other people's material. And here, you talk about, you can express an attitude, okay? So does the reporting verb have a positive attitude? That is, does the author agree? Or sorry, does the writer agree with the author? Has a negative attitude where the writer clearly does not agree? Or is the attitude unclear, okay? So these both refer to the source's material, but also to your own attitude. So here, simply in the example, we were describing a fact or discussing a fact, so facts have to be positive. That's what a fact is. And facts, since it's a fact, you can modify how strong. You can have a strong attitude, a neutral attitude, or a weak attitude. And since it's a fact, you have to have a strong attitude. So again, you click on the button and you'll get some examples. Scroll down a bit. So Bearfield and Kohler report that, reveal that, points out that. So if we just look at these three, they give you three examples of where the sentence, what would be an appropriate reporting verb. Now, as we said, there are some differences between the reporting verbs, and so that you have to choose the most appropriate one. Now, the only one I want to question here, again, you have to look at is the word reveal. And again, reveal means something that's before was unknown. So in this case, this wasn't some secret usage of Turnitin. So you could say reports that because it since it's a report from the author, but it's also simply points out. That is, it's something the author is indicating, and it points out is a stronger word for indicate. So points out would be an appropriate choice. And again, if you want more choices, you hit the refresh key. Note, and again, note would work, but again, note means that it's a small thing, and this isn't a small thing. Conclude, it's not really a conclusion. Demonstrate, the author isn't doing anything. And again, we come to report that. So not every example that you get from this program is correct. You have to choose which example has the closest meaning to the nature that you're going to be choosing. Now, number 3 has a similar problem. Grant believes that because of the new purchase of all departments can take use of Turnitin. And again, this is really a similar question. This isn't really a belief. This is really a fact. It's simply that now that everyone can purchase this, everyone can use it. All the departments can use it. Belief, on the other hand, indicates this is an opinion that may be disputed, but here it really can't be disputed. So let's go back to number 1 for a second. So we said that you can't use the word describe in number 1 because you have a that clause. So now let's look at what reporting verb you can use. That Anne's publications were published by her professor without listing her name. So again, if we want to search by concept, and we're looking at these questions, again, you want an integral reporting verb. You have a that clause here, so it's informative. You want the point of view of the author, but it's, again, remember, it's your perspective on the point of view of the author. And now you want to say, is it positive or negative? And maybe it's not clear here. Does the author agree that there's a problem or not agree? And it's a little ambiguous, and it's kind of moderately ambiguous, which means you kind of know maybe the author might be concerned a little bit. So let's click strong. And we'll only get a couple. And again, it's believes or predicts. So neither of those are particularly, I don't know, maybe believes is kind of weak. That's all we have. So in this case, the program doesn't work too well. You might use the word believes, but that may be too weak. I'm not sure that would be the best choice. So you have to be careful using this program. It doesn't tell you the right answer. It only gives you some possible suggestions, and the suggestions may or may not always be useful.